それから、ゴジラの作品が要するに台本いただいた時がアルファベットの G の作品だけなんですよ。だからゴジラっていう題名ないんですよ、その自分はね。それでどうしようかなと思って G だって分かんないと。で内容台本こう見たらその怪獣らしきものであるということなんですよね。
Tanaka's idea was to have sort of a beast from 20,000-ish type dinosaur come ashore and wreak havoc. Tsuburaya gave it to his art director, Teizo Toshimitsu, who started designing in clay several models. And Tsuburaya picked ultimately the last model he designed, which was, that's it. That's the one we want to use.
Well, Toho staff were desperately trying to think of a name for this monster. There was a guy in the publicity department by the name of Gojira, which is a combination of the word gorilla and the Japanese word for whale, Kujira.
The name kind of, circulated along the lot, and Iwao Mori supposedly heard it and said, "That's got a ring to it."
そんなことないじゃないですか。やっぱりいろんな名が出てきて結局は最後に田中裕子さんとね、それから主人とそれから円谷さんとでいろんなのから取って作ったんだと思いますよ、その名前は。あだ名ってあれは後からそんなようなことをみんないろんな活動やはそういうの好きでしょ、そういうことを話すのがね。ですけどそんなことじゃないと思いますよ。
しょうがないから動物園へ10日間行ってで毎日要するに象ですね、象の歩き方、それからモンキー、要するにゴリラ、それでまた円谷さんが、参考しようとしてキングコングっていうのは面白いんですよ、やっぱりアクションコマ撮りなんですよ。ワンカットこういうふうにね撮って、それで円谷さんに聞いてみたの。そしたらね、円谷さんにどのぐらいかかるかなと、円谷さんが撮ったらね、そしたら7年ぐらいかかると。ところがそうはいかないと、3ヶ月であげるということでお前に入ってもらうの。
Well, the film kicks off with several fishing boats being destroyed by some unknown creature out in the sea, and the survivors tell of a great white flash, which is Godzilla's radioactive fire. As the film progresses over the next hour, you just get hints of something big and dark and evil smashing its way through northern Japan.
一番最初のゴジラはですね、この怖いということでしょ。だから目がこうつり上がってるような感じでしょ。ところがシナリオによって全部私たちは動きが変わってくるわけですね。一番最初のゴジラっていうのは僕のそのオーダーしてないゴジラなんですよ。オーダーしてないんですよね。だから首をこういうふうに曲げてもですね、僕がこういっぱいに曲げてもですね、このぐらいしか動かない。だからこの中でもって遊んでるわけですよね。
本田さんというのは後藤には音楽がよくわからないから一切任せるというふうにして、彼はどちらにしても作ったもので本物でないから、これは音楽の助けがなければ生きて見えないと、もし良くなるのであればと思っておられたようです。一つ鳴き声の方ですから、一般に鳴かないんですよね。それで動物園や何かにみんな交換の人が言ってたんですけど、哺乳類は哺乳類の音、それから鳥の音はゴイサギなんかがいいというんで撮ったんですけど、全部ダメで、結局コントラバスを使おうということ。それでコントラバスの弦はペッグボックスでこう縛るとこありますから、あれからこう外すわけです。外してテールピースというところにこう引っかかってますが、それからコマに引っ掛けてこっち側にこう楽器から離すわけですけど、それで、手には革の手袋を履いて、それでこれにコントラバスを弾く時のヤニをつけて、それでこう縦に弾いたわけです。
There was a certain amount of concern at Toho at the time about the cost of the film, but when the film came out, it was a massive success in Japan, an absolute packed-out box office.
It was interesting when the film debuted, the Japanese press unanimously panned the movie with statements like, why are the Japanese bothering to make these types of films? These films were the realm of American filmmakers. But the public, despite the bad press, flocked to the film in record numbers.
See Godzilla, King of the Monsters. You may wish to deny it, but your eyes tell you it's true. A tale to stun the mind.
Well, the original Godzilla was picked up by an American distributor who filmed extra scenes with Raymond Burr to make it more acceptable to an American audience. And it was very cleverly intercut with the original footage from the movie.
The American distributor was so worried that since it was so close to World War II, Americans wouldn't accept a movie that was a Japanese film, especially one called Gojira, so they kind of Americanized it, calling it Godzilla.
George, here in Tokyo, time has been turned back 2 million years. This is my report as it happens. A prehistoric monster the Japanese call Godzilla has just walked out of Tokyo Bay.
こんだけね、評判になって、お客さんが詰めかけて、世界的にも後々ね、評判になるっていうことは考えもしなかったですね。
Godzilla became sort of the roar that was heard around the world.
Toho rushed into production with Godzilla Raids Again, where he fought a creature called Anguillus.
Sort of a spiked armadillo type monster related supposedly to the Ankylosaurus.
They weren't really thinking about doing a series, a Godzilla series per se. They just knew that big, splashy special effects films were popular. So they began making movies like Rodan in 1956.
See these prehistoric beasts emerge from the bowels of the earth after 200 million years to devastate mankind.
You have Rodan, you have Mothra. Rodan is one of two gigantic pterodactyls. Mothra is, of course, a huge moth.
What is the secret of Mothra? What is the bizarre spell that awakens Mothra?
They're all in individual films at the beginning, but it isn't long before they start meeting each other for head-on collisions and sort of sumo-type combat.
Nobody can stop the great showdown when King Kong and Godzilla meet to fight for survival of the fittest.
In 1962, pretty much a landmark movie came out, King Kong versus Godzilla.
That was really the film that kicked off Godzilla as a film series, because that ended up being the most popular Godzilla film in Japan. It attracted a huge, huge audience.
Godzilla's character was sort of changed in that film. He was still this symbol of evil, or this force, but some of it was played for laughs.
Godzilla has a brain about this size. He is sheer brute force, while Kong is a thinking animal. His brain is considerably larger, about 10 times the size of this gorilla's skull.
King Kong versus Godzilla, heading for their colossal collision.
Behind me is the Tokyo Television Tower, which was built in the 1950s. It features in pretty much all the Godzilla movies of the 50s and 60s. First seen in the 1954 Godzilla, where he takes a great big bite out of it. Another famous Toho monster, Mothra, also destroyed the Tokyo Tower in its larval form.
Mothra, enveloped in a shell that no human force can penetrate. Indestructible, all-powerful, indescribable.
It's also where Mechanic Kong is chased by Kong at the end of King Kong Escapes.